Welcome to the Road to Glory series, episode 11, season 11, with Solihull Moors. And we've kind of reached a bit of a crossroads in this save because we're struggling to improve where we finish in the league. And we've not got the money to really do much either, but we still need to try and somehow improve the squad. And yeah, it kind of feels like we've hit a bit of a ceiling. But let's see what we can do this season. Okay, so let's kick things off with transfers because it's become quite apparent to me that we need to move a lot of players on and bring a lot of new players in, and the players we bring in need to be first team players, not squad players anymore. And the back end of last season, we brought in a few players before the season ticked over. So Medard Mwamba from Saint Etienne for 5 million, rising to 6 million. This guy is currently in our under-21s, but as you can see, he has oodles and oodles of potential. So I did treat myself to sign in him. And then we got Kirk Weeks from Nottingham Forest for £6 million, who can play on the right side of defence as a wing back, or he can play further up as an inside forward up there, kind of inverted winger, whatever we want to play him as. Again, he's in our under-21s. He was a bit of a mistake. I think I was a bit misled by scouting reports on that one. So we're probably going to look at him and see if we can sell him on and maybe get a little bit of a profit for him because he's too old for our under-21s and yeah, he's just not particularly good. But we did go to Pohang, and for £1.4 million, we brought in Park Jae Hwan, who will be a starter for us at centre-back, 6'1", 4-star current ability with 5-star potential, 20 years old. Everything about him I love. It's my kind of signing. He's a bargain. He's got some good attributes to him. He's fairly strong, good star ratings, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, really like him, and he is a first choice centre-back for us. Then we got Chris McDonald from Crystal Palace, a 13 million, rising to 14 million. Our previous goalkeeper was like 2.5 star. This guy is 3.5, rising to 4 stars potentially. Really good attributes about him as well. 6'3", can use both feet. I really like him. I think he is a fabulous, fabulous goalkeeper. And absolutely, he is our new number one goalkeeper. So a new number one central defender, new number one goalkeeper. Two good additions to the club there. In terms of players that have left, there's a load of players that went on free transfers, and Tanaka Dina has gone to Cheltenham for a small loan fee. Then we move into when the season ticked over to the 2033-34 season. And the first one we brought in is Kazushi Ishibashi from Bayer Leverkusen for £5.5 million. And he is a new first choice right back, 3-star current ability with 3.5-star potential. When you play him as a wing back on support, he's 2 stars, but he is being trained on there. So hopefully he will start to improve his attributes and his star rating and all that sort of thing. Actually, his crossing is already improving. So pretty decent start for him in that respect. Lucas Gardenier from FC Köln for £16.5 million. New first choice left back. 3.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. He's 26 years old. He can cross a little bit. He's got some good pace and acceleration. He does all the defending stuff reasonably well as well, like tackling and marking and heading. 5'11", pretty decent with both feet as well. And yeah, he slots in as a new wing back on the left-hand side. Mika Warbs from Parma for £3.9 million. 3.5-star current ability, 3.5-star potential. 24 years old. He's not going to improve anymore, but he is a first choice in the anchor role in midfield. An improvement on what we had last season, and it also means that our backup will be better as a result as well. And Ratko Pralas from Hajduk Split for 1.9 million. Another goalkeeper. He is our backup option, this one. So we've replaced both of our goalkeepers from last season. Like I say, he's a backup, 3-star current with 3 to 4-star potential. I have a lot of confidence in him. Hopefully he can improve as well. And he's 6'4", proper goalkeeper height. I think you'll all agree. Then we come into the players that we've sold, and we have made a few sales. We've got Leo Shahar has gone to QPR for 3.8 million, rising to £5 million. Nathan Coxall has gone out on loan with a loan fee and wages paid. Jake Garrett, who was one of our defensive midfielders last season, a backup defensive midfielder, he's gone to Reading for 1.7 million, rising to 2.2 million. To put this into some context as well, Leo Shahar, we bought in on a free transfer. We've got £4.4 million for him. Jake Garrett, we bought in on a free transfer. We've got 1.7 rising to 2 million. Connor Monty has gone to Preston for on loan, a £15,000 loan fee. Charlie Butts and Jake Smith have gone out on loan as well, a couple of youngsters for us. Patsy Morrissey, who was a first teamer for us last season, there's no room in our squad for him. He's gone out on a loan fee. There's no optional fee or anything like that in his, where am I going? I want his contract. In his contract, as you see, there you go, no optional fee or anything. Prosper Nati has gone to Crawley on loan as well for £28,500. There is an optional future fee of £325,000 for him. He came through from Arsenal on a free transfer. So if we get a bit of money for him, that'd be great as well. Vasilis Torresiadis, who was our backup goalkeeper last season, well, for a couple of seasons. Again, we've got him in on a free. We sold him to Rangers for 1.6, rising to £2 million. David Wood has gone on loan to Chesterfield. If we have a look at his contract, there's no optional fee in there, but they are paying some of his wages. And Glenbrook Dawson basically is the same. There's no optional fee on there, but they are paying some of his wages as well. So that is the transfer business we've done. As a result of it, we are currently £44,000 in debt. We do still have £7.5 million in the transfer budget, and we have a tiny little bit of wiggle room in the wage budget, of £43,000, which isn't really going to buy us a great deal. What I also want to show you as well is if we have a look at the facilities, as you know, we moved into a brand new, just under 20,000 seat stadium last season, towards the end of last season, last couple of games of it. We then had an email come through, which I'll try and put on screen round about now, where my friend Gavin has decided that he's going to expand the stadium even more. And I'm quite happy with that because he's expanded it by 4,740, which will take it to just below 25,000 capacity. It should be finished in a few days' time, the 7th of September. We're on the 2nd of September now, so hopefully that gets done pretty soon. If we have a look at the rest of our facilities, training facilities are excellent, youth facilities are excellent, junior coaching is exceptional, and youth recruitment is excellent as well. I did have a look at this part of it where it gives our rating: 16 for training, 16 for youth, 17 for youth recruitment, 20 out of 20 for junior coaching. We can't improve that anymore. We're not going to get any of these improved at the moment because we are currently in debt, but hopefully my mate Gavin decides to give me a bit more money and we can then try and invest that in all of that stuff. We do want to add to our honours this season as well, because we've won obviously some league titles. We've won the Vanarama National League, Sky Bet League 2, Sky Bet League 1, Sky Bet Championship. It'd be nice to get, and we have won the Bristol Street Motors Trophy as well. It'll be nice to get like a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup, something like that added to this screen. What we do want to do is, if we have a look at the competitions, we are currently sitting in 7th in the league. We kind of want to get around this position this season as a finish point, because if we have a look at how we done last season, we finished 9th last season and 11th the season before that. That was their debut season in the Premier League. So if we can finish 7th or 8th and get a European place, a Conference League place, I'll be really happy, because I think we need that. We need to get the money for European football coming in. The sooner we can get to the Champions League, the better, because then we'll be absolutely loaded. But at the moment, when we look at the squad, if we filter it by age, we've got Pralas, who's 18 years old and doesn't need to be registered. Park Jae-hwan, who's 20 years old. Everyone else, it's starting to get a bit of an older looking squad now, and we are maxed out. If we have a look at our registration, we've registered 25 players. That's without having to register Ratko Pralas. Obviously, if we was in Europe, we'd have to register a second goalkeeper, and we would be struggling. So what I need to do is, by the end of this season, ready for next season, I need to make some decisions on some of these players. If we can't sell them, we need to just put them in the under-21s and loan them out, basically, because we need to create room in this first team squad, because at the moment there is no room and it's affecting my ability to be able to improve this squad. If we have a look at the schedule, we've done some pre-season friendlies. We did lose to Cercle Bruges, but we won all of our other games. In terms of the league, we started off against Sunderland and picked up a 3-1 win against them at home, with goals from Park Jae-hwan from a corner, Teddy Rowe also getting on the score sheet as well, Matthew Henderson Hall. Then we played Tottenham and got a very credible 1-1 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I was quite happy with that result. We did go 1-0 down, Musa pulling it back for us. In the Carabao Cup second round, we were drawn against Fulham, a fully rotated side for this game, as I usually do for the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. Teddy Rowe getting on the score sheet and Errol Sincere also getting on the score sheet as well. Then we played Norwich in the league with a 2-1 win against them. Barry Flower getting on the score sheet from a corner. And then we scored an own goal as well. Or we didn't score an own goal, they scored it for us. And then Norwich pulled one back, but we managed to hold on for the win. And then we went out of the Carabao Cup at the third round stage against Leeds. Lewis Jones getting a couple of goals. Again, fully rotated side, but Leeds were just too good for this fully rotated side of us. We have Liverpool up next, followed by Southampton, Leicester, Wolves, Palace and Brighton. Liverpool obviously will be a massively tough game, but the other games that follow, we've got quite a nice little run to start the season off. So we've been blessed with a pretty decent start to the season, and if we can get that start of the season under our belt and pick up a decent amount of wins and all that sort of stuff, it could give us confidence and it could propel us on to actually do a really good or have a really good season. Because like I say, if we can't get European football, if we finish 9th, 10th, 11th again, then I just feel we're going to be turning the wheels, and it does really feel like we've hit that ceiling. I've said about the ceiling before, but it just feels like we need something to happen to be able to propel us up, because players I've seen that I've wanted to bring into the club, they've not wanted to come here. We've not got any European football. We're not at the standard, and we just need all that to improve. So yeah, it's going to be a really tricky season, because I don't think we'll finish any lower than like 9th or 10th sort of thing. I think we'll be top half of the table. And if we look at the club's vision, they just want us to avoid relegation again. They're happy that we got knocked out in the third round of the Carabao Cup. So they're all really pleased with me. The supporters are very pleased as well. I'm hitting all the things for them. We're within our wage budget, all that sort of stuff. And yeah, so everyone just seems content, and I'm not really sure how this episode is going to go, because I don't know how we're going to be able to improve on this 9th, 10th, 11th type finish. But so far, it has been so good. So on the tactics screen, this is basically what our strongest 11 looks like. And it's not a bad lineup. Ishibashi is a lot better than his 2 stars that he's given. But Henderson, Hall and Lewis Kumas kind of feels like it's probably going to be their last season for us, because we really need to improve in our attacking areas. But when you have a look at this first choice team, you can see we have really focused on the defence, with McDonald, our goalkeeper, being brand new, Gardenier left back, Ishibashi right back, and then Park Jae-hwan joining Barry Flower. It's almost a completely new back five with poor old Barry there. He's still rattling around, and he's a very decent player, Barry, as well. And then we go just in front of them, Warbs sitting in this anchor role. The whole defensive goalkeeping unit has taken on a really, really positive improvement this season. But then when you get above them, you've got Van Zijst, Babadi, Kumas, Henderson, Hall, Musa. That is basically as it was last season. If we then go and have a look at what our second 11 is, if I can click on it, this is our second 11. And as you can see from these, it needs improving, doesn't it? It really does. The first 11 needs improving. The second 11 needs improving. And I never thought I'd find the day where Berto, Rowe and McArdle would basically be my second string. Ryan McArdle, I love this man. He's come through from Arsenal on a free transfer. He played for us in League One, played for us in the Championship, played for us in the Premier League, and he's always been very good for me. But the last couple of seasons, he's just kind of, well, last season really, he just kind of has fallen away a little bit. We kind of feel like he's probably hit the level that he's at, and he's probably suited to a bottom half Premier League team. So yeah, as much as I hate to admit it, he is someone that I'm probably going to look at moving on at the end of the season as well, along with Teddy Rowe and players like that. But we'll see what happens with those. If we have a look at the dynamics, team cohesion is very good. Club atmosphere is very good. Managerial support is excellent. If we have a look at the hierarchy, everybody loves me with the exception of Armin Singh. I mean, that just goes to show you can't please everybody, doesn't it? So, yeah, that's pretty much where we are at the moment. If we go back to the schedule, like I say, we've had a decent start. Go to the Premier League. We're sitting in 7th. Let's just get over to part 2 now and see whereabouts we can be come the end of the January transfer window. We are sixth. It's been a pretty decent season, actually. We started off the season in fantastic fashion. We hadn't lost a game in our first 10 league games. We were the only unbeaten team left in the Premier League. But it kind of, since them first 10 games, we've lost 6 of the following 14, basically. So if we have a look at the schedule and we have a look at where we were the last time you was with me in part 1, we was just about to play Liverpool after losing to Leeds in the Carabao Cup third round. We played Liverpool and we drew 0-0 with them. I was quite happy with that at Anfield. A 2-2 draw. Chris McDonald, our goalkeeper, was our man of the match. Well, nearly a man of the match. It was actually Gardenier that was their man of the match for the game, but I give it to McDonald. Then we played Southampton with a 1-0 win in that game at home. Barry Flower with a goal from a corner. Leicester City were up next. We beat them 4-2 away from home. Lewis Kumas with a hat-trick. Musa getting his traditional 1 goal. Then Wolves were up next, coming to Solihull Moors Stadium, and we beat them 4-0. Lewis Kumas continuing to score. Ishibashi, Musa with his typical 1 goal, and Teddy Rowe on the score sheet. Then we dropped points against Crystal Palace, and this because up until the game against Leeds, including this game up to the game against Leeds, was our pretty decent run at the start of the season of friendly games. Yes, we had Tottenham, yes, we had Liverpool, and we managed to get draws in both of those. But we did have a pretty friendly start to the season. A 1-1 draw against Crystal Palace, Alan Bertode with a penalty in the 6th minute. Then we had Brighton at home and we beat them 4-2. Musa getting 2 goals on this occasion. Barry Flower from a corner and Teddy Rowe getting on the score sheet as well. Then we played Aston Villa and drew 0-0. And this was kind of like the start of a pretty poor run of games here. We went for a stage like these 6 games here, plus if you include these 2, we had 1 win in 8 games, no wins in 6. And for the game against Newcastle, I got an email about the fans don't like my tactic and they're frustrated in my unwillingness to experiment and all this sort of stuff. I ignored them because they're just the fans of the football club. They don't matter. And eventually it kind of picked up, but we'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, Aston Villa we drew 0-0. Leeds we then lost against them again 2-1. Means we've lost home and away to them this season, away in the cup, at home in the league. Chelsea were the next up, a 2-2 draw against them. Musa and Ryan McArdle getting on the score sheet. Man City were next up, 2-2 at home. Kumas and Henderson Hall were the goals for us. 2 for Erling Haaland. How old is he in this game now? 33. Hopefully he retires soon. Then we played Newcastle and got beaten 2-0. And like I say, that was when we then got the email. And I kind of looked at it and thought, well, I think you're being a bit unfair because Chelsea, Man City and Newcastle, I don't think we should really be getting judged in them performances. And before that, we've had a pretty decent start to the season. So that's the reason why I ignored them. Then a 3-1 loss against Arsenal. Isaac Babadi scoring for us in that one. Then we played Ipswich and won 3-1. Isaac Babadi getting a hat-trick. I think that's his first ever hat-trick for us. Don't recall him getting a hat-trick previously. Brentford were the next team we played at the Solihull Moors Stadium. Isaac Babadi getting on the score sheet as well. And Errol Simsir also getting on the score sheet. Then we played West Ham and won 4-1. Isaac Babadi again for goal. 2 more goals from Musa and Matthew Henderson Hall. Then came Manchester United away. We lost that one 2-1. Musa did score in the first minute, gave us a really great start, but United were just a lot better than us. Tottenham, we then played them at home and lost 2-0 to them. Then we started our FA Cup campaign against Barnsley with a 4-0 win in this game, and we fielded pretty much a rotated team in this one. Hullett, Bertode, Van Zijst and Simons with the goal. Sunderland next up, a 5-1 win for us in that game. A hat-trick from Musa. It's the first time I recall him scoring a hat-trick. I might be wrong, but it's the first one I remember him getting. McArdle and Babadi also on the score sheet there. Then we played Liverpool again and we lost 1-0 this time. Then we played Norwich, a 2-0 win against Norwich. Musa and Isaac Babadi with the goals in that one. We then had a very nice tie against Hartlepool where we was able to field a fully rotated side. We won 4-1. Musa with 2 goals, Henderson Hall with 1 and Callum Logan with 1. But we were 1-0 down in the 18th minute and it took until the 77th minute for Musa to get on the score sheet and actually turn that around. So, yeah, that was a bit closer than I'd have preferred it to have been. Then we played Southampton in the league and we beat them 1-0. Isaac Babadi with the goal in that game 2, which means Southampton, yeah. So we're about to play Leicester City today in game the 4th of February. And basically this is what we've got left this season. We have Leicester up next, then we've got Wolves and Crystal Palace and Brighton. Leicester, Wolves and Palace are certainly winnable games. Brighton will be a tough one. We've got them back-to-back in the FA Cup 5th round and in the Premier League. Then we play Aston Villa and then we play Leeds. I mean, I would say both of them are quite winnable as well. But like I said earlier, we've played Leeds twice this season and lost on both occasions. But then we come up against that run again of Chelsea, City, Newcastle, Arsenal. Then we get Ipswich, Brentford, West Ham, and we finish the season at home against Manchester United. So in terms of our desire to finish in a decent position in the league, in these European places, we don't want to get to the games where it's at the beginning of April and we've still got work to do. So the more points we can get on the board before then, the better, obviously. We are only 2 points off a Champions League place, by the way. Even if you're taking 4th place as a Champions League spot, 5th as well, we're 2 points off both. Only 3 points off Man United in 3rd. We are having a very, very good season. Isaac Babadi is joint top of the assist charts. If we go and have a look at some of the stats, have a look at how we're doing on corners, for example, and we're not as good as what I'd like us to be. We are pretty much mid-table on corners. From direct free kicks, we scored 1. I mean, that's pretty decent. Brentford and Man City have scored 2. From indirect free kicks, we're around mid-table again. We scored a couple of indirect free kicks. We do need to get better at set pieces, but we need to get better overall. What I will also show you is I'll put a screenshot on screen round about now where I had an offer come in for a job interview at Arsenal. And bearing in mind, Arsenal are 8th in the table, so technically we are doing better than them. Obviously, I declined the interview. I didn't go to the interview. There's no point. I'm not leaving Solihull Moors. But I just thought it was quite interesting to see that the reputation I've got now is that a club like Arsenal will come in for us. And it kind of is important because when we look at it in terms of the Premier League, they have won, I mean, they haven't won it in the last 3 seasons, but before that, they won it 4 of the last 5. So they are a pretty decent team in this universe, Arsenal. In terms of transfers, because the transfer window has just closed, this guy has really annoyed me because he wants to leave. I promised that I'd sell him as soon as possible. In the summer transfer window, he turned down 2 transfer offers. And then he was kind enough to give me more time to fulfil the promise. And look at all it. We've had Udinese have come in with an offer for him. It was a loan offer with a mandatory fee. Bristol Rovers came in with a loan offer and a mandatory fee if he plays 15 games, or at least 15 games for the club. Swansea and Burnley, I turned down because they were just offering straight up loans with no... I think they had optional fees and I just don't like optional fees, so I just turned them down. Before that, he also had an offer from Espanyol coming for a straight £10 million buy of it. He turned Espanyol down, he's turned Udinese down, he's turned Bristol Rovers down, and then he comes to me with the ump because I've not sold him. And it's what really annoyed me is there was no option in the conversation I had with him to be able to say, don't be a moron, I've accepted, 5 offers that you've then turned down. Not my fault, you've not accepted them. Now, bog off. And really, they need to add that as an option. Maybe something a little bit more politer, but I don't see how that's my fault. I've given him the opportunity. I'm actually at the stage where I'm very tempted to just release him. The problem I've got is he's still got another year on his contract. If I do a release on a free, it's going to cost me 3.3 million, and we don't have 3.3 million. In fact, we have £556,000 in the bank. We do have a transfer budget of 33 million. I'll get to the reason why we have so much of that shortly. And a wage budget, we're underspent on the wage budget by 40,000, which won't really do anything for us. I did have a little look around some potential signings, but I just decided it's worth sticking with what we've got and saving this 33 million and maybe a little bit more if Gavin's feeling kind until the summer. But yeah, getting into transfers, the reason why we've got 33 million pound in the transfer budget. First of all, Gavin kindly, I think we had something like 12 million in there to begin with, and then Gavin upped it to 25 million pound. He wanted to give me a bit more money to spend. Nice of him. But then one of their players, I can't remember which one it is now, but one of their players had played 50 games and we had to spend I think it was Babadi actually, if I'm right in remembering. I think it was Isaac Babadi played in 50 games. Yeah, it probably was him. And we had to pay Ipswich something like £15 million. So that took that back down to pretty much where it was to begin with. But then we have made some player sales. And if we come and have a look, we've moved 3 players out the door. Armand Singh has gone to Western United FC on a loan deal. There's no optional fee or anything like that in there, I don't believe. No, there isn't. But they are paying 100%. They are paying a lot of his wages. I can't remember what the percentage is, but it works out to be a fair amount. We've sold Lashano Simons, one of their defenders, can play anywhere along the back. He's been a useful player, to be fair. He's made 114 appearances for us, but we got an offer coming from Alversa for £6 million. We paid 1.6 million for him, and like I say, he's been a very decent backup option for us. But yeah, we made a profit of £4.5 million basically. I weren't going to say no to that. Ronan Dupont has gone to Raul Hispalis for 21 million. I think it's rising to 26 million. We bought him in for £7 million. By the time the add-ons have been added on, we've made £20 million profit. He's been decent for us. I can't deny that. He has been decent. But we do need to trim our defenders because we've got far too many of them. So 2 of them have now moved out. And that is why we end up in a position where we have £33 million in the transfer budget, which, like I say, we will save it for the summer now because the transfer window's closed. If we have a look at dynamics, the team cohesion is very good. The club atmosphere is excellent. The managerial support is excellent. Matt Owens is disappointed he's not been able to go out on loan to people, but I'm not bothered about him. And yeah, I think that's probably about it. If we have a look at the injuries quickly, as you can see, we've had injuries in FM. And yeah, it's been a very, very good first half of the season. Hopefully we can see it through and continue to finish somewhere between 5th and 9th. I would be very happy with that. I really want that European place, whether it's the Conference League, the Europa League. Can I dare to say the Champions League? I don't care which one it is. I just want one of them. And now we need to find out if we were successful in doing so. Have a look. We finished 5th in the Premier League, and that will be enough for Champions League football because England have been a mile clear as number 1 in the coefficient rankings all season long. So I'll be amazed if they're not still in that position now. So we will be playing as a minimum Europa League football next season, but most likely Champions League football. As you can see, Tottenham won the league, and I feel a bit dirty because they won the league because we beat Manchester United on the last game of the season. If we have a look here, as you see, we beat Manchester United 2-1. Tottenham drew 0-0 with lowly Ipswich, which meant they would have gone into the last game of the season. Both teams on 76 points. Man United above Tottenham on goal difference. And because we beat Manchester United and Tottenham got their draw, Tottenham have won the Premier League. And that is the first time in however many years, maybe even the first time ever, Man United failing to retain it. Actually means, in terms of the Premier League, there's been a different winner for the last 4 seasons. Newcastle, Liverpool, Man United and Tottenham. So Man United finishing 2nd, Liverpool finishing 3rd, Man City. I mean, look at that. 1 point separating 4th from 1st. What a Premier League. Can you imagine if that was actually a Premier League title race in real life? That would be thrilling. I mean, what were the other results on the last game? Man City beat Southampton. So Man City came from 73 to 76. What did Liverpool do? Where are Liverpool in amongst all of this? Am I blind? Here they are. They drew 1-1 with Newcastle. So again, even Liverpool, if Liverpool had won against Newcastle, they would have won the league. So what a title race that is. Newcastle getting 6th, Brighton getting 7th, Arsenal in 8th. It may be enough for a Europa Conference League place for them. No European football at all for Chelsea or Aston Villa. The teams to get relegated are Crystal Palace, Sunderland and West Ham. And to add to the good news, Musa came 3rd in the top goal scorers ranking. Benjamin Sesko was top with 39 goals. I mean, that's an insane amount of goals. How old is he? 30 years old. So he's still got some time to go, that boy. Erling Haaland with 29. I mean, no surprise to see Erling Haaland scoring goals even at the age of 33. But Musa with 24 goals for the season. He has had a very, very good season. And Isaac Babadi joint top with the assists, 13 assists along with Facundo Buonanotte. Very, very good there. He's also joint top for the free kick goals as well. If we have a look at the table in full, we've been so much better this season, both offensively and defensively. 21 wins, 9 draws, 8 defeats, 74 goals scored, 41 goals conceded, a goal difference of plus 33. It's just been such a good season, it really has. If we have a look at the schedule, from the last time you was with me would have been just before we played Leicester. So we played Leicester and we beat them 3-0. Musa, Ryan McArdle and Teddy Rowe with the goals. Then we played Wolves and won 1-0 away from home there, before a 2-0 win at home against Crystal Palace. Ben Nink and Musa with the goals in that game. Then we had not Crystal Palace, Brighton and Hove Albion in the FA Cup 5th round. We lost 3-1 away from home against them. But in the league, a few days later, 5 days later, we beat them 1-0. They did have João Pedro sent off in the 44th minute. Ryan McArdle getting the only goal of the game in the 53rd minute. Then we played Aston Villa and got a 3-1 win in that game. And then a 4-1 win against Leeds United. And then we come up against this run of tough games: Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle, Arsenal. A 1-1 draw at home against Chelsea, Musa getting a goal. Then we got beaten 2-0 by Manchester City with Erling Haaland getting both the goals. Then a 2-2 draw against Newcastle United. We went 1-0 down, but then Lewis Kumas got us back into it with an equaliser on the 71st minute before Michael Elise converted a penalty pretty much straight afterwards, it's 4 minutes later. But then Alan Bateau getting a goal on the 86th minute. Then we lost to Arsenal 3-1. Isaac Babadi scoring for us, but Saka, Odegaard and Van Leuven scoring for Arsenal. Then we played Ipswich and beat them 4-0. Musa with a couple of goals, Lewis Kumas and Ryan McArdle. Then Brentford were up next with a 2-2 draw away from home. They did have a player sent off, but it was in the 93rd minute, so a bit late to help us really. Musa and Lucas Gardinier scoring for us. We went 1-0 down, but then went 2-1 up. But just after half-time, Keane Lewis Potter equalising for Brentford. Then we played West Ham and beat them 4-0. 2 goals from Musa, Matthew Henderson Hall and Teddy Rowe getting on the score sheet. And then came the surprise, because I wasn't expecting to win this. Benjamin Šeško scoring for Manchester United, Musa and Lewis Kumas scoring for us in a 2-1 win on the last game of the season. So very, very good season. We're in the Champions League. I am over the moon about that, because that will give us so much money next season. If we have a look at the finances, we've got £28.6 million in the bank. We have been given a £57 million transfer budget. Wage budget's not really changed at all, but we have got a £57 million transfer budget. And that is pretty much all been given to us by Gavin, because as we got towards the stage where the budgets were due to be set, I looked at our transfer budget being 33 million and thought, I want to spend that 33 million so that whatever my transfer budget is not just topped up from what we've managed to save. So I did go into the transfer market and I have picked up 2 new players to come in. 2 South American wonder kids, 19 years old, a pair of them. Luis Marcos is coming in from Estudiantes. Yep, something like that. Both joined on the 13th of June. For £10 million rising to £11.5 million. He plays he'll be playing the Mazzala role. He can do the advanced playmaker as well, I believe. We just have a little, he's not as good on it, but he can do it. But he'll be playing the Mazzala role alongside Isaac Babadi, 3.5-star current ability with 5-star potential. He could be very, very decent for us. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does for us alongside Babadi in our midfield. Then we've got Rafael from Fluminense. Is coming in, 3.5-star current ability, 5-star potential as well. He's got pace, acceleration, agility, stamina. He'll be playing probably on the left, could play on the right. I haven't really decided where he's going to fit into the squad yet. He can also play up top as well. But when we look at the squad we've actually got, like I say, we'll have the 3.5-star in here to play alongside Isaac Babadi, and then this guy will slot in one of these positions. Yeah, like I said, I've not really decided who to move out of the squad really, but this is what our squad looks like in terms of the homegrown players as well, which we are going to need for the Champions League. Our squad size at the moment is quite a small squad actually. It's a squad of 24 people. Take Arman Singh out of it because he will either be leaving or he's going to be demoted to our under-21s anyway. Either way, he's not going to be a part of this squad, so it's a 23-man squad. With these 2 coming in, takes us up to 25. And as you can see, we've without Singh, it will leave us with 4 homegrown at club players, which is Matt Owens, Lewis Jones, Therese Hullett and Ryan McArdle. Now, in an ideal world, I think Owens needs to go as well. He's rubbish. Hullett is not much good anymore either. So Lewis Jones, he's useful, but he's not great. But obviously, because they're homegrown at club, we need to keep them around for the time being. That being said, we've got a whole host of homegrown at nation clubs. So I wouldn't mind if Alex Adam and or Callum Logan moved on. It's about trying to move on as many players as we can. Someone like Ben Nink could probably move out as well. Errol Sincere, Chichua will be leaving on a free transfer. So take that one out as well. It means we've got a squad of 24 now. So we're looking in reasonable condition. We're bringing, we're letting go of Arman Singh, who's that, and bringing in I can't remember what the guy's name is at the moment. Let's have a look at him. Lewis Marcos, we'll be bringing him in instead. That's an improvement on that. Chichua will be leaving. We don't need to replace him on the right-hand side, I don't think. Let me just have a look at my tactics. Mikkel Vorbs can play out there. So can Park Jae-hwan. Barry Fisher. We've got plenty of options. Ishibashi is our first choice out there at the moment. Maybe we do replace him. I don't quite know. I've not really thought that much about it at the moment. But either way, our squad is looking pretty decent for next season, and the homegrown status is firmly under control, which you'd like to think it would be, considering we've been with this club since the Vanarama National League days. So, yeah, that's the transfers we're going to be doing. What we'll do now is we'll pop over to the end of season review and do that, and then we'll go through the emails and that to round the episode off. And here we are for the end of season review. No little trophies or anything on there, sadly. But let's get into it. So new arrivals. Chris McDonald gets the signing of the season for Crystal Palace for £14 million. He's actually hit a 7.03. He has been very, very good. Ratko Pralas. Now, what's quite interesting here is their 19-year-old wonder kid backup goalkeeper for £1.9 million. Board are very happy with him. He actually appeared on the Next Gen Top 50 Wonder Kids of the Year. And that is the first time Solihull Moors has had anyone on the next gen list. So that is a sign of improvement. The fact that we've got Ratko Pralas there and he's a backup goalkeeper. So there's going to be a decision to make as to whether we do make him our number one. After that, we've got Mikko Vorbs. The board are content with the deal to sign him. £3.9 million. I mean, he's got a 6.90, which for a defensive midfielder is not bad at all. 31 starts, 7 substitute appearances. I'm surprised that's only a C because, they're basing it on some sort of financial side of things, but I think £3.9 million for him is an absolute bargain. £16.5 million for Lucas Gardinier from FC Cologne. 35 appearances, 1 as a substitute with an average rating of 6.87, 1 goal, 3 assists. Park Jae-hwan at centre-back, 21 years old, from Pohang for £1.4 million. 34 starts, 2 appearances, 1 goal, no assists at 6.86. And Kazushi Ishibashi from Bayer Leverkusen for £5.5 million. 33 starts, 1 goal, 3 assists at 6.77. Between Gardinier and Ishibashi, only 6 assists. I'd like to see them getting more next season. In terms of the players out, Kirk Purcell went to Portmore United and he's had a decent season, hasn't he? Let's be fair. Luciano Simons has gone for £6 million. He's made 18 appearances. Leo Shahar has gone to QPR for £5 million. He's been a first team regular for him. Ronan DuPont has gone to Real Hispalis for £26.5 million. He's been playing for them. Jake Garrett, likewise, has gone to Reading for 2.2 million. We've had the full 2.2. I think it's something like 1.7 million raising to 2.2 after a certain amount of appearances. He's made them appearances now. Torresiadis, who was our keeper, he went to Rangers for £2 million. I'd say he's played every game for them. He's done reasonably well. Daniel Sorensen has gone to Gillingham. Richard Farrell doesn't have a club at the moment. He'll probably end up retiring where he is. In terms of a season to remember, attempt to avoid relegation from the Premier Division, and we finished 5th. So that has been phenomenal. This needs to catch up with how good we actually are because it's very slow to do so. We're 5th in the league. I'm expecting next season, I want us to finish in this blue zone again. Because of the extra football, we might end up dropping down a little bit. But hopefully this can be us now trying to push into the top 4. We're already finishing above the likes of Newcastle, Arsenal and Chelsea. That is awesome. 99% of our home has been filled, 23,953, finishing 5th. Musa, our top goal scorer. In the FA Cup, we went out to Brighton and Hove Albion, as we said. Again, 99% capacity. There was a League Cup as well. We didn't do great in that either. Then we've got the moments to remember. The biggest win against Sunderland, a 5-1 win in the Premier League. Match to remember in the Premier League, a 1-1 draw against Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, I would have put the 2-1 win against Manchester United down as a match to remember, to be quite honest, but hey-ho. Goal of the season was from Ryan McArdle. Great strike from the Moors central midfielder as he scores a daisy cutter from 24 metres. He actually won goal of the month for that one as well. So well done to him. In terms of the finances, the broadcast revenue has gone down, the corporate and hospitality has gone down, and the matchday commercial and retail has gone down. Competition prize money has gone up by about 8 million, and the sponsorship has slightly gone up. I would expect to see all of this massively up next season with the Champions League. We are 3.5-star reputation national at the moment. That will change to continental for next season because we are in Europe. Total merchandise sales of 3.93 million. Shirt sales, we've sold 27,155 shirts. Babadi, Park Jae-hwan, Musa, Henderson Hall and Kumas, the 5 top shirt sales. When we have a look at our best 11, McDonald in goal, Gardenier left back, Ishibashi right back, Park Jae-hwan and Flower in the centre of defence. Don't argue with any of that. Vorbs, Rowe and Babadi in the midfield. I would have had McArdle in there myself, but okay. Kumas and Henderson Hall out wide with Musa up top. Musa with 27 goals and 8 assists in 42 appearances this season. He's had a very good season. Lewis Kumas as well, by the way, with 9 goals, 9 assists. Has kind of gone under the radar a little bit. Henderson Hall I've been a little bit disappointed with, even though he's rated better. He's not scored as many goals or has got as many assists. Isaac Babadi, though, 11 goals and 14 assists from 42 games from a central midfield position. Very, very happy with that. Then we get on to the accolades. Most league appearances by a player. I mean, it's going to be Teddy Rowe every season with this. He's got 376 appearances at the moment. Highest transfer fee received, Ronan DuPont for £20.79 million. In terms of the player awards, fans player of the season is Isaac Babadi. The young player of the season is Musa, but the fact he's 24, he won't be able to win that next season. Chris McDonald as the signing of the season. Goal of the season, as we know, is Ryan McArdle. Top goal scorer is Musa with 27. I think it was only 1 goal behind Tavon Campbell, who currently holds the record for our top goal scorer in a season type thing, this award basically. And I think he's on 28 for that. Most assists, Isaac Babadi for 14. Most player of the match awards, Isaac Babadi. Highest average rating, Isaac Babadi. I mean, you can tell who our number 1 player is, can't you? Most passes completed per 90 minutes is Callum Logan. I mean, he didn't play too many times. I've won Manager of the Month in September and March. I don't think I'm going to get Manager of the Year, but at least I've got 2 Manager of the Month awards. A remarkable season for Solihull Moors, started superbly and never let up. What a season they had. They say it's important to get off to a good start, but it rings as true as ever for Solihull Moors as they celebrate a terrific season. And the Manager timeline is what the Manager timeline is. And here we are with our overall best 11. Lewis Kumas has been added to this, apparently. I think it's on a subs bench somewhere. Some of these names, when you look at them, it's quite a throwback because this is basically players that we've had from here. So Jensen in goal, Ben right back, Newton left back, Rooney and Tipton in the centre of defence, Antwi, Rowe and McArdle in the midfield. I mean, that was back in the day, wasn't it? Hullett and Hagan out wide with Soji up top. What I am quite... Elijah Dixon Bonner's in there. I just want to see if there's... there you go. Ricky Dallowell. How is he doing? He went to Rotherham, bless his heart. I mean, he wouldn't be good enough to be with us now, let's be honest. But, yeah, he left us for £2.5 million after we got him on a free transfer. Played a reasonable amount of games for Cardiff and then joined Rotherham for £2 million. In terms of Jay Ben... He was a favourite player of mine. I would have loved to have kept him around, but he's just not good enough, really. He was with us originally back in Vanarama National, came back to us again in League One, and then stayed with us until he left for Arbroath on a free. He spent 3 years in the Championship with us. He just never saw Premier League football, and I would have loved him to have seen it because I think he was a really good player. So, yeah, some real acts of reminiscence in there. Is that a word, reminiscing? Solihull Moors, but where are they now? Don't need to worry about that. We've kind of just had a little look. More, where are you now? We get to supporter profile update. The core and family has gone down and our fair weather has gone up. I think the more successful you become as a club, the more your fair weather goes up and whatever. In terms of social media followers, we have 1.3 million followers on social media. That's up by 444.9 thousand this season. Supporters' influence on the board is moderate. What do they want for next season? Be competitive in the UEFA Europa League. I mean, it's going to be Champions League. See, this is the other thing as well, because obviously they've given us our budgets based on getting Europa League football. If they knew we were getting Champions League football, would we have had more? That will be interesting. Become an established Premier Division team, so they no longer want us to battle bravely against relegation. The season after that, continue being an established Premier, and it's basically just that all the way down. So at the moment, they don't have any more ambition other than just become an established Premier League team. So there you have it. That is our squad dynamics. Dressing room atmosphere is excellent. Managerial support is also excellent. The end of season, we better do this first actually. Let's accept the vision. The end of season team meeting, discuss plans. It's going to be quite simple. Click on the. I was looking for something before I actually clicked into it. Right. We're mid-table. No. Okay, so do we go mid-table? Oh, there you go. They're pleased with that. And that will be all for now. We'll leave them with a smile on their face, as we always like to do. New season team meeting. Our injuries have not been that bad this season, to be fair. Training camp destination. We could go to the USA, Germany, Austria, South Africa, Scotland, Netherlands, Singapore or China. I think we'll stick with the USA. We'll take them to the US. Coaching advice summary. Now, what I do need to remember when we have a look at our squad. So I'll just take you to the tactics screen, because this is how I do my squad plan. I don't use the squad planner, I use this. So we've got our first 11 here. Then our second 11 is from here down to Lewis Jones. And then anyone outside of that is basically a backup option. You know, what I want to get into the position of is making these positions youngsters. So Therese Hullett is currently out here at the moment. I do, at this point, need to go back to my squad, because Therese Hullett is homegrown at club, as is Lewis Jones, Matt Owens and Ryan McArdle. So if we look at it here, Jones and Hullett, we need to make sure we keep. Owens is another one that potentially he could be leaving. He's not very happy. He has only got one season left on his contract, so he will be leaving anyway. If we have a look at our dev centre, what I have identified in our under-18s, we filter this by potential. Oscar Nyati is a right-sided player. I'm looking at trying to bring him through. He's 17 at the moment. He's here till 2036. So if Owens leaves, I'm looking at bringing him into our first team squad. And if we have a look at his eligibility, he is homegrown at club as well. We've also got Des Brown. I don't really know what to do with this guy, because he's got a bit of potential. I don't think he's really ever going to be much, but he has got a bit of potential. But I'm just not convinced by him being a centre-back, to be quite honest. And then after that, Kevin Bradley, who can play in a few positions. We could potentially have him as a backup right-back. Again, he's got a bit of potential. A right-back is a player that I need. So do I go to buy him? Again, he's homegrown at club, so that would tick another box there. He's someone that, yeah, I may well bring in as my right-back option, because as you can see here, we do have a position for a right-back. Bearing in mind, we are also in a position where Park Jae-hwan and Barry Flower can also play, and Mika Vorbs can also play at right-back as well, if we didn't want to throw him in, if maybe the game was too big or something like that. We've always got the likes of Ben Nink and Callum Logan that we can call on in defence. So, yeah, there's some squad planning for me to do. These two positions are vacant because we've got the two new signings coming in, and this is our backup team. So, yeah, I'm very happy. Let's have a look at the hierarchy. Everybody loves me. Every single one of them is in complete and total support of me. This is a football club. It's not a cult, I promise you. And in terms of the actual dynamics, the team key is very good. We've already seen that bit. Anyway, so yeah, that is pretty much all there is for this week's episode of the Road to Glory series with Solihull Moors. Join me next Sunday at 2 p.m. and let's see how we get on in the Champions League. Please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.